The detailed how to play it today breakdown is linked in the description on theircheck.com. The short version, Solaris, is absolutely worth trying if you want to see how far an Atari 2600 game could be pushed, but it is not an easy blanket recommendation in 2026. This is a selective one. Solaris still makes sense today because it is not just another old space shooter. For the Atari 2600, it is dense, ambitious, and surprisingly structured. There is shooting, yes, but also navigation, sectors, scanners, fuel pressure, and the constant sense that the game is asking you to read a situation instead of just react to one. That is the appeal. It is also the problem. A modern first-time player can bounce off Solaris fast, not because it is bad and not because old games are automatically hostile, but because Solaris explains very little on its own. If you go in expecting immediate arcade clarity, it can feel like noise. Things are moving, alarms are happening, planets matter, fuel matters, the scanner matters, and the game is not going to slow down and onboard you like a modern release. So the recommendation is narrow but real. If you are retro curious and want an easy first Atari game, start somewhere else. Yar's Revenge, Adventure, or Asteroids are cleaner first stops. If you already have that baseline, Solaris is more interesting. It is a second Atari 2600 game, not necessarily the first one you hand to somebody. Now, the legal way to play it today, for most people, the answer is Atari 50, the anniversary celebration. Solaris is included in the 2600 lineup there, and that makes Atari 50 the easiest modern recommendation. You are not buying Solaris as a standalone digital game. You are getting it inside a broader Atari collection. That distinction matters. The original cartridge is still the purist route. Original hardware is the purist version. A cartridge on modern cartridge reading hardware may also be an option for people who already own the cart, but that is not the normal low friction path. It adds acquisition questions, hardware questions, and in some cases compatibility questions you should check before spending money. For a regular viewer asking, what should I actually do? The answer is simple. Use Atari 50. Why that version? Because Solaris benefits more from access being easy than from the romance of original hardware. The old cartridge is historically authentic, but authenticity is not the main blocker here. Understanding the game is the blocker. Atari 50 removes the access headache. It puts Solaris on current platforms inside a package that is built around playing and contextualizing old Atari games. It does not magically make Solaris modern. It does not turn it into a remake. It does not erase the fact that this is a mid-80s Atari 2600 game with mid-80s expectations. But it gets you to the game legally, cleanly, and without turning the first step into a cartridge hunt. That is the correct trade-off for most people. Purists can still choose the original. They just should know they are choosing friction on purpose. Before starting, the most important thing is this: do not play Solaris like a simple forward-facing shooter. The core adjustment is reading the game. Pay attention to the scanner. Learn what the sector movement is doing. Understand that fuel and Federation planets are not background details. They are part of the pressure system. Warping, positioning, and deciding what to engage with are part of the game, not extra complications around the shooting. You do not need a full walkthrough at the start. In fact, using one too early can flatten what makes Solaris interesting. What you do need is a short mechanics primer or the manual level understanding of what the screen is trying to tell you. Once that clicks, Solaris becomes much easier to respect. Maybe not easy to love, but much easier to understand. So, is it still worth playing? Yes, selectively. Solaris is not a must-play for every modern retro player. It is too opaque for that, It asks for patience before it gives much back. But if you are curious about ambitious Atari 2600 design, and you are willing to learn its language for a little while, it still has a real reason to exist in your queue. Play it through Atari 50. Skip the cartridge chase unless that is the point for you. And do not start Solaris because it is old and respected. Start it because you want to see an Atari 2600 game trying to be bigger than the box it came in.